Irpin is just one of many Ukrainian cities that have seen horrific attacks with civilians caught in the crossfire. Crowds of people have been evacuating with help from Ukrainian troops. Across the whole country, the United Nations says more than 2 million Ukrainians have left their homes. Neighboring nations have welcomed them with open arms. And this morning, we're hearing firsthand about what those families are up against as they leave their homes behind. Olena Bukuyeva and Kostiantyn Strukov are a husband and wife who left Irpin with their son and daughter, and they're joining us now to talk. First of all, we're so thankful that you are safe and that you are healthy and that you're able to spend some time with us to talk to us about what you're going through. Can you just tell us what the trip out of Irpin was like for you?
Hello. Thank you for inviting us for this conversation. Our trip from Irpin was quite long and very dangerous. We stayed in Irpin starting from 24th of February when the war started. And we were in the basement of our house for 8 days. And all around there were firings during all this period of time. And the boiling point for us to leave Irpin was air attack, which was near our house, and it took place on the 2nd of March. So on that moment, we decided that we should leave Irpin, that we should take our children out of house and as soon as possible. So we gathered our things and we moved early. We moved out of Irpin early on the 3rd of March. And it was quite dangerous because we didn't know what will expect us on the road. Because according to the news, our local news, there were somewhere in Irpin, there were Russian military troops, and we didn't know whether we will be shot or whether they will take our car or whether we can get out alive out of Irpin. Also, the family of my sister was with us. They also evacuated with us. And also, some of our neighbors evacuated. We formed a convoy and started our way out of Irpin through block posts. And luckily, we managed to escape out of there. And as far as we know, the next day after our evacuation, a family tried also to evacuate out of Irpin, and all of them were shot on the road. And we follow local chats where people are trying to find their families. So the whole families are missing, and we are not aware how many people are still there. They need help, and nobody can provide them help because currently, rescue services do not work. Officials provide some ways to evacuate out of Irpin, but we understand that not all people can even get to the point of evacuation.
Olena, you are not just doing this on your own. You have 2 children. They are young, but not so young that they don't know what's going on. How are you explaining this to them? How are you keeping them safe and calm?
The most difficult was the first day of war because the children cannot understand what is going on. Yes, of course, we told them that the war started, that we should move, that we cannot stay here. We will be moving somewhere. So that we have to be in the basement of our house because of attacks. And my older daughter, she had a panic attack at that day, and I even had no words how to calm her because I have no explanation of this. I have no words to say, and I have no promises, what I have to promise to my children, and I have no answer when they ask me when this hell will finish, when the war will stop, and whether there will be any bombings today, tomorrow, and in each place when we stayed during our way out of Irpin.
So let me ask you a question, because I did a story earlier where we talked about a little boy who traveled some 600 miles from Ukraine to Slovakia to stay with his family. He traveled all by himself because his parents were worried about potential nuclear radiation from one of the nuclear power plants that were in the region. How concerned are you about that? I know that there have been some reports about the Chernobyl nuclear power plant going offline this morning. We're told that there's no critical leaks there at the moment, but does that factor in to your decision to leave?
So that is not the factor, because if we have problem in Chernobyl, we will have this problem anywhere in Europe. And if even we move in Poland or somewhere else, we will have the same problem if something happens with Chernobyl. So we always check this information. Even in peaceful time, we check the level of nuclear pollution because it's changing. In the summer, it was sometimes high, so we did not let our children out of the house because of the high level. So, and if anything happens now, so there will be nothing in Ukraine and in neighbor countries. And no people, nothing.
That's an excellent point. Can I ask the both of you, the world has been watching over the course of the last 10 days or so as the Russians increase their bombings, their attacks on civilian targets. As you pointed out, a family who left Irpin just after you did, you say, was shot and killed in trying to escape. What do you want the world to know about those of your countrymen and women who are left behind, who don't have the capabilities to leave the way that you were able to leave?
Many of those people are currently in the basements, and they have no possibility to move out because our rescue services does not work properly in these times. And these people, they are short of water, food. In Irpin, Bucha, Hostomel, there is no electricity, no heat, no connection with those people. So many are missing, and many ask for some information about them. But this information is not available, at least for 3 or even 5 days. So, and even if somebody of those people are alive now, we do not know whether they will be alive tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, and whether they will be able to get out of this war alive at all.
Olena Bukuyeva and Kostiantyn Strukov, thank you so much for sharing your story. I pray that you find a safe place for you and your family, and this all ends sooner than later. Thank you.
Thank you.